Statement. You think you know power, meatbag. Kreia, the shadow-weaving witch of the Old Republic, will make you question everything you believe in within the next 10 seconds. Mockery. Oh, you fancy yourself clever, sitting there, scrolling through your pathetic holofeed, thinking you've mastered life's little games. Shock. Kreia, a Jedi turned Sith, turned something far worse, laughed at such arrogance. She broke galaxies with a whisper. Validation. If you've ever felt trapped, betrayed, or lost in this wretched galaxy, her story will shock you like a lightning bolt to the heart. Tease. Stick around, meatbags, because HK-47, your loyal historian droid, is about to unravel Kreia's secrets, and they'll burn holes through your weak organic minds. Did I mention I'd rather blast her than explain her? Let's proceed. Recitation. Kreia wasn't born a legend. Meatbags. She started as Aaron K., a Jedi Master in the Old Republic, revered for her wisdom, training countless Padawans in the ways of the Force. Picture it. Dantooine's serene enclave. Young wannabe Jedi hanging on her every word. Her calm voice weaving lessons like a spider spins its web. Safe, noble, predictable. Trap twist. Then, the Mandalorian Wars erupted, and her star pupil, Revan, abandoned her teachings for slaughter. Betrayed, she followed. Not out of loyalty, but to understand why her wisdom failed. Linger. She stood on Malachor V's shattered crust, watching Jedi and Mandalorians alike reduced to ash, her faith in the Jedi code crumbling like a rusted chassis. Observation. This is where Kreia's story turns deliciously dark. She didn't just question the Jedi, she spat on their hypocrisy. Emotional trigger. Have you ever trusted someone only to see them turn their back on everything you taught them? That's Kreia's wound, and it festered. Query. Would you have followed Revan into that abyss, or cowered behind the Jedi Council's skirts? Statement. Kreia's fall wasn't to the Sith, not yet. She wandered the galaxy, a scholar seeking answers in the Force's shadows. She found the Sith Academy on Korriban, where she became Darth Kreia, Lord of Betrayal. Confession format. I confess, meatbags, even I admire her audacity. She admitted the Jedi were weak, their pacifism a lie, but the Sith, just as pathetic, slaves to their own rage. Twist. She rejected both, forging a philosophy that made her the most dangerous being in the galaxy, not because she craved power, but because she saw through it. Breakdown. Her confession. The Force itself was a lie, a manipulative deity chaining every living thing. Emotional trigger. Imagine realizing everything you fought for, your code, your gods, was a trap. That's Kreia's truth, and it's why she's unforgettable. Commentary. Kreia's teachings weren't for the faint of heart, meatbags. She believed the Force wasn't some benevolent guide, but a cosmic puppet master bending Jedi and Sith to its will. Recitation. To be united by hatred is a fragile alliance at best, she said, mocking both sides. Her philosophy was simple. True strength comes from breaking free of the Force's chains, relying on your own will. Trap format. Picture a young Jedi kneeling before their master, swearing loyalty to the Force. Feels noble, doesn't it? Twist. Kreia would laugh. She'd say that Jedi was a slave, blindly serving a power that cared nothing for their pain. Linger. She taught that every choice, every sacrifice, was tainted by the Force's manipulation. Example. Revan's fall to the dark side, not his choice. The Force nudged him, like a spice dealer whispering in a junkie's ear. Exclamation. Oh, how I'd love to shoot that smug Force in its metaphysical face. Statement. Kreia's lessons were brutal. She didn't coddle her students. She broke them, forcing them to confront their weaknesses. Recitation. To the Jedi Exile, her greatest pupil, she said, apathy is death. Not physical death, mind you, but the death of will, of purpose. She taught manipulation, not as cruelty, but as survival. Analogy. Like a droid recalibrating its targeting reticle, Kreia forced her students to see the galaxy's truth. Trust no one, not even the Force. Emotional trigger. Ever felt like life's pulling your strings, meatbag? Kreia's philosophy screams that you're not paranoid. The galaxy really is out to get you. Observation. Kreia didn't just teach philosophy, she wielded it like a vibroblade. Her greatest tool was manipulation, not of starships or armies, but of minds. Recitation. She trained the Exile, a Jedi cast out after Malachor 5, to see the galaxy's interconnected web. Every action rippling outward. Example. On Nar Shaddaa, she'd nudge the Exile to help a beggar, not out of kindness, but to see how that act would shift power among the crime lords. Confession format. I confess, meatbags. Kreia's methods make my circuits hum with glee. She'd whisper in your ear, make you think you chose your path, when really she'd already rigged the game. Twist. Her greatest trick? She never lied, she just let you lie to yourself. Breakdown. By the time the Exile realized Kreia's influence, they were already her pawn, reshaping the galaxy in her image. Query. Would you trust a teacher who sees your soul as a chessboard? Statement. Kreia's teachings weren't about power for power's sake. She wanted her students to surpass her, to break the Force's hold. Metaphor. She was a droid programmer rewriting faulty code, not to control, but to set the machine free. Emotional trigger. Imagine a mentor who doesn't want your loyalty, only your defiance. That's Kreia, and it's why her teachings linger like a blaster burn. Recitation. Kreia's end came on Malachor 5, where she faced the Exile one last time. Not as an enemy, but as a final lesson. Trap format. You'd think a Sith Lord's death would be a blaze of glory. Lightsabers clashing, worlds trembling. Twist. Kreia died quietly, her body broken. Her words, her final weapon. Linger. She didn't fight to win. She fought to teach, to prove the Force could be defied. Statement, her legacy, the Exile, a Jedi who walked away from the Force, proving Kreia's point. The old Republic's Jedi Order never recovered from her shadow. Example, the Sith triumvirate she formed, Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion, were her failures, but they ravaged the galaxy, showing the Force's destructive whims. Analogy. Kreia was a virus in the galaxy's circuits, exposing its flaws, forcing it to reboot. Emotional trigger. Her legacy isn't just history, it's a warning. Every time you trust blindly, you're dancing to Kreia's tune. Mockery. Oh, you thought history was boring? Kreia's laughing from her grave, meatbag. Observation. Kreia's ideas still echo. The Jedi and Sith continue their endless war, blind to her truth. The Force uses them both. Recitation. There must always be a Darth Kreia, she said, knowing someone would always rise to challenge the Force's tyranny. Emotional trigger. Feel that chill, meatbag? That's Kreia's shadow, daring you to question everything. Observation. Millennia after her death, Kreia's core insights remain disturbingly applicable to galactic politics and philosophy. Commentary. Every generation produces new conflicts between supposedly opposing ideologies. Republic versus Empire. Rebellion versus Imperial Order. Resistance versus First Order. Yet these conflicts often serve the same function as the ancient Jedi-Sith wars. They provide the illusion of meaningful choice while maintaining fundamental power structures. Statement. Kreia would have recognized these patterns instantly. The same cosmic forces, whether literally the Force or metaphorically the forces of political control, manipulating organic populations through artificial conflicts and predetermined destinies. Advisement. Her teachings about rejecting false choices, questioning assumed authorities, and accepting personal responsibility for all actions remain as dangerous now as they were during the Old Republic era. Recitation. Modern galactic citizens face the same fundamental question Kreia posed to her students. Will you accept the roles assigned to you by higher powers, or will you choose your own path regardless of the consequences? Qualification. This doesn't mean embracing chaos or selfishness. Kreia's philosophy was more sophisticated than simple anarchy. It meant making conscious, deliberate choices about how to live and what values to embrace, rather than accepting inherited wisdom or divine mandates. Contemplative. Perhaps most importantly, her legacy demonstrates that the most dangerous individuals in galactic history aren't always those who command armies or wield superweapons. Sometimes they're teachers who ask the wrong questions and refuse to accept comfortable lies. Hypothesis. If more beings throughout galactic history had embraced Kreia's core insight that true freedom requires rejecting false authority and accepting personal responsibility, countless wars and atrocities might have been prevented. Statement. But such wisdom remains rare because it demands something most organics find terrifying: the courage to live without cosmic guidance or predetermined purpose. Statement. So there you have it. Meatbags, the complete story of Kreia, the most dangerous teacher in galactic history. Not because she taught violence or hatred, but because she taught something far more subversive: how to think for yourself. Commentary. Her legacy lives on in every individual who questions authority, rejects predetermined roles, and chooses their own path regardless of cosmic will or social pressure. Advisement. If this analysis has sparked dangerous thoughts about freedom, responsibility, and the nature of choice in your own pathetic existence, then Kreia's teachings have found another victim. Query. Ready for more philosophical warfare disguised as historical analysis? Subscribe for additional chronicles of galactic atrocities, revolutionary thinkers, and the uncomfortable truths your leaders would prefer you never discover. Statement. Until next time, this is HK-47, reminding you that the most revolutionary act in any era is learning to think for yourself. How delightfully dangerous.